inside the well became a substance to free himself. See, the sand in this story represents tribulations. We experience it in our lives. We constantly do it. We're currently doing it now. They're constant tribulations. Because these tribulations keep us honest. God is way ahead of us. I'm going to continue to relate back to that. All right, each time I travel, move forward. So, but I want to capitalize on the 5 versions of suffering that Paul mentioned in verse 10. He mentioned weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and also calamities. We use calamities as well. See, weaknesses is a form of suffering. This is good news because it gives us meaning to our everyday challenges. We're all weak. We all complement each other. And we encounter this result in our weaknesses because this also can be considered physical limitations or just plain current human nature. Our weaknesses keeps us honest and relevant towards God, who works through them to validate us. All of us are assembled here today, and we don't possess the same strengths and weaknesses, yet we all have them. We all have our different strengths, and we have our different weaknesses. That is by God's design. It keeps us relevant, and it keeps us dependent upon each other. It keeps us honest, because we can relate when we experience our own weaknesses. We can talk about insults. Insults are also a form of suffering. We might have naturally thought of this because persecution involves insults. People are intending to persecute us. Am I correct? Yes. But Paul seems to have in mind the insults are generally used to our advantage. But it depends on our perspective of those insults. Just think about it. Why would a person insult you? Give me a few reasons, church. Why would a person insult you? Envy.
Lack of understanding.
They don't have respect for you.
They don't understand.
Jealousy. Just to slander you.
They don't understand you.
So they're haters, right? That's what we call it these days, right? Insecurities. So when others insult you, it should only validate who they are as individuals and how you should categorize them within your lives moving forward. In most cases, they're trying to make you feel as low as they feel. Don't give them that much power over your happiness. That's what we have to be careful about, is how much power we give those type of individuals. We give them too much credit. Why carry on day by day, being upset and mad and all balled up in a knot over a person that you've just given all this power to? If you actually think about it. So just think about that. Insults are the last resort for insecure people. When in crumbling position, they want to appeal confident because they know they've lost. So you have to remain in perspective. Insults are arguments employed by those who are usually wrong. They know that they're wrong, and your point has made a reflection that, hey, they have a point. But instead of being big enough of a person to say, you know what, you got a point, they want to insult you. They want to push a button. But I'm going to tell you how to handle people with insults. A soft, confident response is usually the best comment. You want an example? You want an example? Oh, really? Is that right? Oh, okay. Then move on. Hardships is another one. As you know, as Paul mentioned these, they escalate. Weakness, insult. Now we're talking about hardships. Hardships seem to be a general term covering the difficulties of our lives. Another way of suffering is to think of hardships. So it's another category that's kind of broadens our understanding of suffering. Hardship gives us a broad category of many challenges that life presents to us. Hardships we cannot go without. I don't care how rich you are, how popular you are, how fortunate or blessed you think you are. You will continuously experience hardships. They cannot go away. There is no success without hardship. So when you sit there and you're in awe of a person's success, know that they have been through something. Or they are going through something. And you have to make sure that you are willing to go through what they're going through. Because there are others that just don't want to sacrifice that much. They want the success, but they don't want the work that comes with it. So we have to keep ourselves in perspective there. Hardships prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. All right, God is going to place it on you, but we're going to get into the particulars of how we should respond to those hardships. Because what happens, and as I told you, what I see in my capacity, I see so many people in pain, and it's because of their perspective of what they're going through. If you have that faith in God, if you have that understanding of how God operates and how big our God is, you won't give it that much power over you. You will understand that it is necessary to go through those particular circumstances and those hardships. They are not going to go away. As you surpass one, guess what's coming? Another. It keeps us honest. It keeps us relative because we don't know what his plan for us is. That's how we can relate. Some of the experiences that we go through may be for our children. They may be for someone that we're going to encounter along the way. They may be for our parents. They may be for a stranger in the streets. You never know why we experience those things. When we have a certain level of sympathy for someone that we see and we want to reach out and help them. So we can't forget that it's all purposed. God is way ahead of us. Now, persecutions. Now we're getting to the more challenging and difficult topic. Persecution for our faith, whether it's typical or another form. And of course, suffering is a relevant form of persecution. Now, when I researched persecution, it was all religion. All they related to was religion, persecution, because of how our Lord and Savior was persecuted. And how he was able to, withstand all that persecution and abuse and ridicule. And of course, he rose again. Am I correct? So, when you talk about persecutions, it's an organized effort. Persecution is a compliment paid by a threatening lie. People are trying to bury you, but they forget, especially when you're on Team God, you're bearing a seed. That's how you have to see it. They forget that you are a seed. So they can bury it all they want, but all you would do is grow. Thank you. Persecution has never hurt the church. I'm going to repeat this. Persecution has never hurt the church. Prosperity has. Persecution has never hurt the church. Prosperity has. When we get into prosperity, we get it twisted. And we're all human. I'm not saying that if we ever hit and we become very rich and popular, we can say all we want. I wouldn't do that. But truth of the fact is, we are human.
That's right.
So the closer we are to God and the more we understand God and we understand our purpose, the more we can handle prosperity. And that's one thing that people get to being very selfish when prosperity comes about. It's about them. And